So now because of that, whenever Pokemon gets attention, it's always like, oh, you gotta work with Wolf, you gotta work with Wolf, he's the Pokemon champion, he's the GOAT, he's got the world champion difference. No, he's just a cheater. And I think that instead of collabing with him, Charlie needs to make a video fully exposing, being like, oh, Pokemon's got a cheating problem, the Wolf Glick situation's crazy. Moist Critical is playing Pokemon Showdown. Cool, I've always said that competitive Pokemon needs more mainstream exposure, but the problem is, inside of the Pokemon community, it's very easy to fall into the wrong places and have the wrong people give you bad ideas. So yeah, everyone is talking about WolfeyVGC for VGC and like Blunder or Pokeaim for more Pokemon Showdown. Now, the biggest problem out of them is Wolf Glick. Who's Wolf Glick from the outside? He is the current largest Pokemon VGC player, but he's a complete fraud. He has only gained his attention from lying, cheating, and stealing. He leverages his Pokemon World Champion title from 2016, where he cheated to win that event, and then used that to exploit the YouTube algorithm, as well as get non-stop promotion from the Pokemon Company, which is also why VGC, from the outside, it's very easy to, like, not understand how horrible things really are. The Pokemon Company you know and love is provably corrupt and allows their friend to cheat in events to win tens of thousands of dollars in prize money, and without Wolf, they have nothing. You can see that in the events. Wolf is in the finals or the top 4, they do videos about him, that's where they get all of their viewership because no one cares about competitive Pokemon otherwise. So Wolf Glick in the finals, 500,000 views. Anyone else in the finals, less than 20,000 views. For a finals event of the largest franchise in the world that has sold 26 million copies of the game. Now, this isn't something that happened recently because, oh, Wolf became the most popular content creator, that's why they're promoting him. No, this goes back over a decade before really anyone knew about or played Pokemon VGC. He's been friends with people in the Pokemon Company that allowed him to cheat instead of banning him, and then more of his friends that he's played with have gotten hired by Pokemon, and now he's just getting all the features, he's getting all the promotion, and he's allowed to cheat. Now, the largest Pokemon content creator being a liar and cheater is a big claim, but there's over a decade of receipts about this, that the person that made the hacking programs has a stipulation. You cannot use my program in official events. Well, he got upset now that everyone in VGC is cheating, because it's not just Wolf. It's every single top player is hacking their Pokemon to disadvantage others, which is against the rules. So, flashbang warning. Here's the rules. Use of external devices such as an app to modify or create items or Pokemon in a competitor's battle team is expressly forbidden. Competitors found to have Pokemon or items that have been tampered with may receive disqualification regardless of whether the Pokemon or items belong to that competitor or were traded for. So you can't go, oh, I got traded this thing. I got it off the GTS. I didn't know my perfect 6 IV Pokemon that I got for free was hacked. No. Any hacked Pokemon, ginning is hacking. Don't let them use the soft, sugary words to change the fact. Every gen Pokemon is illegal. There is no such thing as a legally hacked Pokemon as dictated by the rules. All manipulation is against the rules. Hacking in rare candies to level them up or hacking in bottle caps to train them, that is also against the rules. Now, it's harder to track. That's also what these players do. They just hack in all the items on like a separate save file or console, and then they just power up their Pokemon that way, still cheating. Also, we can see the corruption of the Pokemon Company because back in 2012, even up until, I believe, 2016, it said you will receive a disqualification for having any tampered Pokemon, but they never enforced the rules because, oh, it turns out you lose all of your top players and you lose your golden boy Wolf Glick because he's cheating. It's still in the rules. And the crazy thing is, we saw this with Pokemon Worlds 2023, that almost every top player got disqualified because it happened in Japan. And Japan, they take cheating very seriously, or hacking very seriously in their video games. So that exposed the corruption right there, but it wasn't as big of a story as it should have been. And you know what Wolf did? He defended the people that got disqualified for cheating. So that's how cheating works in Pokemon. And if you disagree like, oh, I think ginning should be legal, well, you're wrong, because those are the rules that are being opted into. You don't like the rules? Don't play. End of story. It doesn't matter how expensive Pokemon is or how much time it takes, these are the rules that players are voluntarily opting into. Breaking those rules and then lying about it to steal tens of thousands of dollars in prize money is wrong and indefensible. And in Wolf's scale, it's actually evil. He has built an entire career of depriving the opportunities of others and then lying about it and then continuing to cheat with the support of the Pokemon Company. So what happened with Wolf's team? Well, this is the team that the Pokemon Company posted after he won an online event. Pokemon Company said, yo, use Wolfe Glick's team. He won this event. Check it out. And then Kurt and other data miners got a hold of it. Oh, it has completely hacked Pokemon. Pokemon that cannot exist without the use of hacking tools. And then Kurt has also just kind of shown how much of an epidemic this is. We have 2 more rental teams from Players Cup 2. So second place. So first and second place, cheaters. Fourth place, because they posted their team, cheaters. And then there was another Players Cup where everyone in the top 16 that shared their team was confirmed to have been cheating, including the winner of Pokemon Players Cup 4. And then there's the receipts for the hacked Pokemon that the players used. Also, regionals. You get first place at regionals. That's just going to cheaters these days. We have just the breakdown. So first place from Vancouver Regionals, that's a cheater. The first event in Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, both finalists had hacked Pokemon. Same thing happened with Liverpool, both finalists had hacked Pokemon. But Wolf just accidentally got a hacked Pokemon from other people. So, you know, he's not a cheater, except it happened again. 25th Anniversary Invitational, Wolf has his team posted by the Pokemon Company, it gets data mined, multiple hacked Pokemon. He is a habitual, career-long cheater. Now, what's even more sus is after getting busted with all these hacked Pokemon, Wolf made a video about what happens if you buy Pokemon on eBay. Spoiler, they're all hacked. You don't need a video to explain this. It's always been true, and there is no doubt or question whatsoever. And as a former world champion and someone that's supposed to be legit, you shouldn't be touching or playing around with hacked Pokemon ever in any circumstance. But what happened is this video fully exposed Wolf because now he commissions hackers and data miners to check his Pokemon to make sure he isn't going to get busted again. Why does a Pokemon champion and active competitor have a hacker in their pocket to check Pokemon for them if they're legit? Why is he making a fake video trying to be like, but here's how you can stay away from hacked Pokemon, when he then has to use hacking to explain that? And it was also something that didn't need to be explained because, of course, every Pokemon being sold on eBay is hacked. There's also bot programs that automatically give away hacked Pokemon to, I don't even know how many tens of millions have been given away at this point. You join a Discord, you put in a request, you get a hacked Pokemon. So even paying money on eBay for hacked Pokemon is stupid. So that's the problem with just jumping into the Pokemon community. On the VGC side, the official side, everyone is a cheater, and of course they're forced to lie about it or else they face punishment from the Pokemon Company. But if you don't know about that, or how bad and how it is actually everyone's cheating, including Wolf Glick, why isn't he punished? Oh, the Pokemon Company you know and love is actually corrupt. It's a lot to swallow, but it's just the facts. They don't punish their golden boy that they allow to cheat. And because he's gotten so much popularity by being supported by one of the largest franchises in the world, also just how the YouTube algorithm works, yeah, he gets away with lying. Cool. So now because of that, whenever Pokemon gets attention, it's always like, oh, you gotta work with Wolf, you gotta work with Wolf, he's the Pokemon champion, he's the GOAT, he's got the world champion difference. No, he's just a cheater. And I think that instead of collabing with him, Charlie needs to make a video fully exposing, being like, oh, Pokemon's got a cheating problem, the Wolf Glick situation's crazy. Now, I also have strong opinions about Smogon, but Wolf needs to be exposed first. The problem with Smogon is that it's just a rule set made by bad players to ban everything that beats them, so working with Blunder or Pokeaim isn't going to be productive for competitive Pokemon at all, and you can see a lot of comments about the agency, that's Blunder, or just Pokeaim straight up. Also, there's a good chance that Smogon might be a trap, and if you learn that, you're just going to be worse for Pokemon champions, because a competitive game is coming out. And while singles isn't, like, heavily officially supported, every once in a while you see, like, a one-off in-game tournament that's singles or something. There's a chance that maybe, like, Pokemon Champions actually officially supports a competitive circuit for singles. That's going to be Pokemon's rule set, and not Smogon's babied rule set. So, even then, like, this is the wrong way of going about it. But the problem is, like, all of competitive Pokemon is toxic, twisted, and corrupt. We need to deal with Wolf Glick first, and then we can sort all that out. And maybe it'll just be really awesome if general gaming gets into Pokemon Champions or competitive Pokemon because of this. But Wolf absolutely needs to be exposed for his cheating. And I said there's over like a decade of cheating, an entire career. So I'm just going to put in my video here that has like the full receipts. Oh yeah, there's also this clip that came out recently, which is all true because Wolf defended his friend who, in a twit longer, admitted, I am an abuser, I am sick. Well, I'm sorry for what I'm done, I will never change.
how does it feel to have been going up against Neuven and Sylveon with Boomburst copycat strategies?
So Jake Major, who is Wolf's friend, he got outed as abuser, and Wolf said, "I'm really proud of you," to an abuser, and then he lied about this person called Case to deflect attention away from this guy, and ran Case out of the community to protect his abusive friend. And Wolf's scumbag, that's all I wanted to say. Thanks, bye.
Okay, so I guess we'll be heading to the next round very shortly. So we'll see how the rest of the match goes. So for now, we're going to touch to a very short break, and we'll be right back.
Let's hear it for Wolf Glick!
This really put it into perspective. Pokemon VGC World Championship 2012. And there's Wolf Glick. Cheating. Now, these were the early days of competitive Pokemon, so one-off hack team of shiny legendaries, sure, why not? But then you just kind of follow Wolf Glick throughout the years, and it's non-stop, constant, provable, hacked Pokemon. There is nothing Wolf can say to defend these Pokemon he has used, except an admission of cheating. That is how confirmed hacked these Pokemon are. And just so we're all clear, I want to show everyone how it is this way. So if you end up enjoying the video, you gotta leave a like. If you care about legitimacy at all, integrity, if you're against lying, if you're against cheating, any of that, you need to leave a like on the video, need to share with your friends, and you need to comment your thoughts down below, because Wolf Glick has manipulated his audience to a point that I can only call evil. It's a decade of habitual cheating in a children's game, and then lying and defaming other people for years to keep on getting away with it. Stealing tens of thousands of dollars to over $100,000 in prize money from people following the rules? There's nothing else you can call that but evil. So let's go and break it down, starting with the obvious all the way back in 2012. We have shiny, legendary, perfect IV Pokemon in Generation 5. There was no hyper training, there was no way of modifying the IVs, and while doing research for this video, I actually learned something. Roaming Pokemon don't even get the synchronized 50% chance. And in Generation 5, Thundurus was a roaming Pokemon, so numbers are about to get silly. We got 32 to the power of 6. Then multiply by 25, because that's going to be the nature roll, and then 8,192 for the shiny, bringing us to a big number. I wanted to double check just to be absolutely sure, because it's 1 in 219 trillion. Alright, but people are still out there thinking Wolf Glick's legitimate and never cheated. Don't know why people choose to be idiots and lie to themselves like that, but alright, and that doesn't even factor in the Terrakion. So Terrakion's going to be the same thing, 32 to the power of 6, but I believe that you can actually get the 50% chance for the nature, so times 2, and then we're also going to have the shiny odds of it, and okay, cool, we got 17 trillion. Well, that's just 2 of Wolf's 6 Pokemon, so what other Pokemon did he use? Really? And people defend this scumbag? And he had even more shiny competitive Pokemon before the Destiny Knot passed down 5 IVs. Sure. This is why VGC is dying and no one wants to play competitive Pokemon. They saw this a decade ago, went, oh, it's just shiny legendary team versus shiny legendary team, or everyone's using hacked Pokemon because it's obvious, and then they never saw it get any better, so there's no reason to invest into it. And we also have to acknowledge the opponent, Ray Rizzo. Ray Rizzo is such a cheater that it should be impossible for him to come back from it. Dream Ball, Aegislash in the 6th generation. But not only that, he used more hacked Pokemon that are impossible to obtain because he just hacked his team. The image above is from his Nationals match against Logan Castro Game 2, so if we go and check that out, okay, because privating evidence is what innocent people do. Either way, the Dream Ball Aegislash alone makes it impossible to say that Ray Rizzo is a legitimate player, but his entire team was hacked, and we have the breakdown here. Ludicolo cannot be caught in such a Pokeball, which is the Lure Ball. Upon further thought, Politoed is also illegal. It has the hidden ability Drizzle. Drizzle can only be passed down from mothers or fathers with a Ditto. Aper Balls can only be passed down by females and only used in Generation 4, before hidden abilities were released. So Ray Rizzo's 2014 Nationals team was cheated to the bone, and there's also chat logs of him admitting to using Pokecheck back in the day, which is a hacking program. So obviously he should get punished, right? Nope, he got hired by the Pokemon Company as a caster, and then is like a special final boss guest for the Players' Cup Invitational. And then you wonder, it's like, well, all of these guys were friends back in the day. Cybertron, who works for the Pokemon Company, Wolfe Glick and Ray Rizzo, who are hacking it off against each other in 2012, and then everyone just gets special treatment and gets away with cheating. Cool. But back to Wolfie, because even though it's been almost 6 years of his Dream Ball Raichu, people still struggle with the fact that it's hacked. So I guess we need to keep on clarifying this, because every time Wolf says he does not cheat Pokemon, he is lying. And let's go and prove that. So here's his Raichu coming out of a Dream Ball. That's going to be important later. And then later we get to see the moveset of this Raichu. By the way, this video is on Wolfie's channel, so there is factual, hard, indisputable evidence of Wolfie using cheated Pokemon on his channel right now. So he's also deleted videos in the past I've shown of him using hacked Pokemon, so we're going to see how long this one stays up. But yeah, so Encore back in 2016, Generation 6, was an egg move on the Raichu. Well, that's where things get a little complicated, because the only way of having a Dream Ball Pikachu is going to be from a Generation 5 Global Link event. The problem is, the event was gender locked, so you could only have a male Dream Ball Pikachu. That's it. That was the only way of getting a Dream Ball. Well, this is where the egg move comes in on the Encore, because male and gender unknown Pokemon, including Ditto, have no impact on the type of ball inherited. So I've seen idiots for the last 6 years saying, well, he just gets the Dream Ball Pikachu, he breeds it with a Ditto, or he breeds it with a female Pikachu, then you get the Encore, and then the ball is going to pass down. No, Dream Ball will never pass from a male Pikachu into an offspring in Generation 6, because that's how the game is hard-coded. So this Pokemon cannot exist without hacking, and there's Wolf's face using it. Okay, 1 time is happenstance, 2 times is coincidence, but 3 is a pattern of cheating. And Wolf had been so emboldened by cheating and getting away with it for his 2016 World Championship and his long history of using hacked Pokemon that it doesn't get more blatant than what happened with this Raichu, and people still deny the cheating. Fine, you can make the just wrong argument that you believe if a Pokemon is hacked but has obtainable stats, it should be used in competitive. Them's ain't the rules. So Wolf Glick broke the rules. That is fact. He then lied about breaking the rules and has habitually lied since then. And again, when we get to the pattern of using hacked Pokemon, you can't claim ignorance anymore, especially when you've been caught multiple times. You can't be like, oh, Verlisify lied, oh, Verlisify lied, oh, Verlisify lied, and then get caught every time and then go, well, how am I supposed to know? You know, I didn't get the Pokemon myself. It doesn't matter. It's even in the rules that even if the Pokemon are traded to you, you are now responsible for those Pokemon if they are hacked. You can't claim ignorance when it keeps on happening. So yeah, we got the Raichu. This was an event-only Raichu, which means you had to naturally roll the IVs. Now, after doing my recent video about how every non-Japanese Pokemon World Champion is a confirmed cheater, it has been brought to my attention that Wolf's Raichu that he used in 2016 had 2 guaranteed IVs. Now, it does change the numbers a bit, and that's why I wanted to clear up, but it does not change the numbers enough to change the fact that Wolf Glick used a hacked Raichu at 2016 Worlds, and then had a copy of this statistically improbable Pokemon, while also his friend Marcus having another copy of the same Pokemon with the same team, who then threw the semifinals match to Wolf to put him into the finals. It's all dirty, because Wolf is a very dirty person. So let's see how those numbers look. We got 32 to the power of 4 because of 2 guaranteed IVs, and then 25. That's still 1 in 26 million. On top of Wolf's dubious history of cheating. And it's also a very rare, very special event distribution where you had to participate in a tournament, get the code, use the code within a specific time window, and then soft reset your game every time you wanted to roll for the Pikachu. Still didn't happen. That's not even the craziest part. So now we get to the maker of PK Hex. Kurt is the god king of Pokemon hacking. He has the final say on a Pokemon's legitimacy, and he confirmed that the Moltres Wolf used for the Players' Cup 2 was hacked. And I was suspicious of that Moltres because, again, this pattern of cheating and lying from Wolfe Glick made me think, the habitual liar and cheater is now cheating and then lying about it. Alright, well, Kurt came in, saved the day, confirmed it's an impossible Pokemon. And somehow, Wolf got away with it. He has brainwashed his audience so hard that they will deny the indisputable facts in front of them. And then it got spooky because we go back to a video I did in 2016. Again, he's calling me out, lying about me catching him cheating, turning his audience against me because he has them heavily manipulated, and then he just keeps on doing it. Habitual. This is a pattern of evil.
And I'm hoping that a large part of that is due to a lack of like knowledge by people who are like being hateful on like how breeding mechanics and stuff works and how like VGC and stuff works. To a Raichu event back in Gen 5, but it was male only, so you couldn't pass down the ball. And so because of that, and that actually like is an interesting point. You can't legally get a Raichu and a Dream Ball without hacking is like what you could believe. But the thing is that if you are traded a Raichu that has been hacked and you breed from it, and the Raichu is female and it's in a Dream Ball, you can like obtain perfectly legal Pichu like eggs that are like totally legal and in Dream Balls just because the parent was hacked.
But that wasn't even enough. So even after the Players' Cup 2, he was for the Invitational. We already talked about that because hackers galore for the Players' Cup Invitational. Wolf's team hacked. There are issues with the Groudon and Incineroar. Groudon was edited to have a 0 IV in speed. So just a hacked, edited Pokemon, which is explicitly against the rules. The use of external devices to modify or create Pokemon in a player's party is expressly forbidden, regardless if that Pokemon belongs to the player. And then the Incineroar also has some very commonly hacked values. 0 height, weight, hidden values. You know, common mistake when fabricating data. Otherwise, 1 in 139 billion. So we have hundreds of trillions, just straight up impossible, can only be hacked. Multiple tens of millions. The Moltres was also very, very low odds. And then, 139 billion. I don't know why Wolfie even has a YouTube channel or is even playing competitive Pokemon when he should just be hitting the lottery every single day. And if the statistical odds of the Incineroar are unconvincing, there's also issue with the OT name. Trainer names should not have data at the end of the string, but the Incineroar does. Most likely from a modified distribution, this Pokemon is so hacked that even the maker of PK Hex doesn't know how it's this hacked. And then the Wolf's sheep come crawling in. I can't comprehend how someone can be this broken. Why did you pick a casual invitational and take your shots? I feel like when you invite exclusively world champions, you don't have a casual invitational. Like the one tournament that isn't high stakes. Well, Wolf also, or not Wolf, but Kurt also showed how the Players' Cup did have hacked Pokemon. Wolf obviously brought a team that was never meant to be serious, because that makes cheating okay. Like, sure, expose cheating competitive, but pick a real tournament. He already did. Just demonstrating that he's clearly capable of hacking and likely does for other things, not a big deal. And that's it right there. If you get caught with steroids in between events, you get banned. If you get VAC banned even playing casual matches in CSGO, you get professionally banned. Because it shows the intent to cheat. And again, we don't even need it for this quote-unquote casual thing, even though it was a major invitational tournament from the Pokemon Company. But it's about the capability. If anything, this comment proves the hacking even more, because it shows the capability of cheating for Wolfe Glick, and then his constant lying about it. And then also, as I showed recently, Wolf has a hacked Switch, and he was commissioning hacks for Pokemon games. And it looks like me kind of bringing attention to this did get him in trouble, and he had to delete the tweet. So again, more lying, more deception, more covering up of what's going on here. He's doing wrong. He's showing admittance to doing wrong. And yet people still defend him, and he still tries to lie his way out of it. Like, if you're a legitimate player, you should be nowhere in the realm of hacking Pokemon games like this, especially as a former world champion, and especially if you're trying to defame people over being caught with proven hacked Pokemon. It's disgusting. But yeah, if anyone says Wolfey doesn't cheat, show them this video. It's undeniable proof.